even Xena is a match for the limited edition double-edged lightsaber from Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace.
You removed it from its original packaging.
No! It's no longer a collectible! Oh!
What a nerd.
Oh, Scotty. Now you've done it.
Aye, the haggis is in the fire for sure. But I'll not lower my defenses on the word of that mealy-mouthed gentleman down below. Not until I know what happened to the captain. Computer. Hello, computer.
Just use the keyboard.
They back out now, I will find them, I will strangle them, I will beat them into oblivion. Wow. I'm full of the vinegar.
He's losing his mind. And I'm reaping all the benefits.
Hello everyone and welcome to an impromptu stream. Nice to see you here. Star Wars Scran speaking. This will not be replacing the Monday stream. Basically I've got a lot to talk about tomorrow, so this is one topic I wanted to just get off my mind so that the stream doesn't run too long, okay? Let's have a quick look at who's in the chat. First up we have Darth Pause saying, LegendsCon 2 failed for a reason. That's absolutely true. We might not get into that this evening, but definitely tomorrow, Pause, we'll be talking about that. Are you going to change your YouTube name to Darth Luke? Are you making the full transfer? Next up, we have OG Star Wars saying, what up? Hello, OG. Always a pleasure. Yeah, I hope to see both of you in the stream tomorrow. For some of the stuff I'll be talking about. We've got Fabian Saunders saying, what's up? Good to see you, man. Hey, next up we have Iron Inquisitor saying, good afternoon. It's the evening for me. It's 11 p.m. here in sunny Scotland, so glad to see you, Iron. There's Nasal Servant Art. Good to see you, man. We'll be talking a little bit about your video tomorrow, not to worry you or anything. It's not an attack or anything. It's just might comment on some of the points you made in your video. Fabian says, how's the KOTOR playthrough going? It's at kind of a halt. I'm stuck. To be honest with you, I'm stuck on Tatooine. You know, the bit with the Tusken Raiders. You wear the Tusken costumes. I'm kind of stuck, but I will be getting back on that soon. Don't tell Darth Pause. Darth Pause, aka Darth Luke, says Magneto Alex can't tell me who it was that gave the order. I think it was a group decision that he was a part of. Yeah, he was giving me a bit of lip in the comments as well. Oh, it's not easy. It's not easy at all. Otherwise, I would have done it already. You know, there's a lot of guilty by association going around, and I don't agree with that. So anyway, today's we're not talking about that today. Today's stream is about the fanboy mentality, and that's the best way I can phrase it. You might understand what I'm talking about. It's this way of thinking that some Star Wars fans have in regards to Star Wars, where they can't quite see it for what it is. They always have this this hopium building up, and they come up with their own reasons for things and their own rumors and stuff like that. And it's something I'll agree that probably has existed in fandom for a very long time. You know, coming up with, oh, what if this happened, or what if this character were to fight this character? Like, that's all part of it. It's definitely part of it. But we live in a weird time where they're using that kind of mentality to excuse what's actually going on, and it's I don't think it's a good thing. But anyway, this fanboy mentality that I've been talking about, it's no more evident than in the new panel from Nerd Theory featuring Star Wars Theory and the Den of Vong. All right. I looked on Theory's channel just before I went live. He's still not posted anything from it. That was the whatever the Comic-Con was in Cleveland they were at, and I guess it's like the first time they've met or whatever. But he hasn't posted it yet. It was a different channel that I came across that posted like a 50-minute long video of their discussion. And before they got into the question and answer segment, I listened to it, and it was very much of the same of like what went on their actual the stream that they used to do on his channel. So anyway, someone uploaded it, and I honestly can't wait for that to come back. They said it's not coming back until after Andor, and I guess it's because Den of Vong doesn't like the show, like for good reason. It's just as bad as the rest of the Disney stuff, but he doesn't want to be too negative or whatever, so they're not bringing it back until after that. But they talk so much nonsense. It's going to be hilarious, and if you don't laugh, you'll cry, because the hopium and the copium is very strong with those two. Let's see, I think I saw Chase in here. Hey, there's Chase. Good to see you, dude. Hello to you. Nasal says, to be fair, fandom issues has been around for a while. I know a guy to this day who doesn't like NGO. Yeah, there's plenty of them, and they've got weird reasons for it. It's like they don't like this extraterrestrial species coming into the galaxy. It's like Star Wars is full of aliens. Like, what are you talking about? And they don't like that the Vong can't be sensed in the Force. Well, where do you think they got it from? It's the Isla Miri, which everyone loves, the heir to the Empire. So Iron Inquisitor says, usually because of Chewie's death and the Vong not... Yeah. And we've talked about that before. It's just a talking point for them to talk trash on the EU. Pause says, doesn't matter if you like NGO or not. Crying about EU fans is worse. Yeah, we'll not get too much into that tonight. The Yuzang Vong are very cool. I agree. Like, even when I first heard of the concept, I was like, it's a bit weird. But then the more you read it, you're like, these are some of the coolest species ever introduced into Star Wars, and it definitely helped not reinvigorate, but helped make the stories a bit more maybe more creative, maybe push it forward a bit, not revisiting a lot of the same tropes as in the Bantam era, as good as those novels are. Hey, we've got Decrepit saying, whoa, Scran on a Sunday evening. Interesting. Yeah, man, just getting some stuff off my chest before tomorrow. Tomorrow's the main event. I've got a Netcat coming on for a conversation, and I've got a bunch of other stuff to talk about, so it'll be good. Vong are better than the uninteresting No Grey lookalike knockoff Grisk in the Disney. Yeah, in Disney, we'll talk a little bit about that. They just take from the EU, don't they? Yeah, Decrepit's solo streams are really good as well. I've been enjoying those. Anyway, folks, let's see. So to get into it, the panel with Theory and Den of Vong, they were talking about this fanboy mentality where they believe that the fans taking over, they might eventually, maybe eventually Disney Lucasfilm will work with them, which is absolutely ludicrous. Disney Lucasfilm have proven thus far that they don't care what fans think, even going out of their way to preemptively blame fans for their own failures, not taking accountability. All right. And they're both among the fans that say, I'm not excited about Star Wars anymore, but I want to be. And basically they want Disney to adapt EU stories, but then they ask, it's not like will they, but can they? And we know that they can't. they're incapable. First of all, they're not interested in doing that. Secondly, they're physically incapable of doing it. And it's this whole idea of this fan film that Theory's making. All right, he said on that stream with Purist that he believes the best chance for Star Wars is for his fan film, right, to do so it's that Disney, like, they see that and they're like, oh, we could be doing that as well. So yeah, it's that general idea. They think it's going to make Disney change and to make quote unquote good Star Wars. Yeah, you know, that it's that cringy fanboy mentality I'm talking about. It's never going to happen. Let's see what you are saying in chat real quick. What's the topic tonight? We're talking about the cringy fanboy mentality. Yeah, talking about the nasal video. Yeah, we'll get into that tomorrow. It's all good. Anywho's, take a little sip here real quick. So yeah, Disney are never going to faithfully adapt EU material, and even if they did attempt it, too little too late as far as I'm concerned. So Disney are never going to make faithful adaptations of the EU stories. They'll never honour George Lucas's vision. They've proven that so far. And as we know, they can't even adhere to their own continuity, which they promised they would have complete cohesion and what's the synergy, basically. They scrapped the lore for creative freedom, and then proceeded to cherry pick from it and completely ruin it and just take from it. Because they're that uncreative, they can't come up with their own ideas. So these guys, they can't get excited about Star Wars unless they're talking about fake news, rumors, or making fan fiction that honestly doesn't matter. You can make as much fan fiction as you want. It's cool. It's definitely cool, but in my opinion, it's a bit of a waste of time, waste of effort, waste of resources, money. Like, if you that right, they were talking about you know what could what in your opinion could fix Star Wars, and they passed that on to the audience. And the guy that's been cutting about with Theory at the conventions in the Darth Maul outfit, he started this whole spiel about, you know, it's not about who's there and who can take over. It's about the fans. We're here. We're putting in the work. We're doing blah blah blah. We're making comics and blah blah blah. But no, there's a handful of YouTubers out there putting out these things and pretending like they're combating like the big two, like DC and Marvel, and there's absolutely no way they're ever going to come close to that. And they don't have to. You know, if you're a creative person and you want to put something out there that you've thought up and you've made, like, go for it. What do you think George Lucas did? George Lucas put his own money into Star Wars, and then he did the same with Empire and Jedi. George Lucas didn't piggyback off someone else's creation like a lot of these other guys do. They're piggybacking off of visionaries, essentially. So go out there and make your own thing. Don't just make your own version. Well, you can make your own version of something, but, you know, selling lightsabers, making fan fictions of someone else's universe, I don't think that's the way to go. You're never going to trump the thing that you're imitating, basically. Make your own thing. And people would gravitate towards that, I think, if it's good. If you can make the next Star Wars, go for it. Disney will probably try and buy it off you because they don't want to make the next Star Wars. They just want to own it, you know? Right, let's see what you are saying. Pause says Vader 2 is going to be a part of Disney canon soon. Well, that's kind of what they were talking about. They were talking about, oh, if Theory makes this that good, Disney will maybe even hire him, you know? And then they were like, they probably won't hire you, but like if they did ask you to, would you, kind of thing? And he's like, oh, I don't know, I don't want to be tied down to the corporation that will own me and stuff. And it's like, was it Dennis Vaughn? He said he wouldn't work with Kathleen Kennedy, but he would be a phone call away. He would jump on it and talk to them. I'm like, these people have destroyed this thing that you claim to love, and you want to hop on and join in with them. What's that all about? It's the fanboy mentality. They want to have the access. They want to be involved. They do not care about the integrity of the thing. And it's clear as day. Iron Inquisitor says the only thing they'll do is cherry pick stuff and make the maybe it canon crowd go, sorry, Jackface. Yeah. And they all have this mentality of headcanon, basically. And headcanon is like the complete antithesis of what made Star Wars so great for so many years. The continuity, the chronology, the linear timeline, you know? That's what people invested in, that entire story. Hey, Dan Blackroyd's in chat saying, fan fictions waste the time of everyone. The people that make it and the people that watch it. Saga of one. Exactly. And like I say, if you want it, I think fan fictions are good for maybe like a writing exercise, you know, to try it out, or practicing your camera work, or, you know, something like that. But to put it out there and pretend like it's going to change the way Disney perceive what they're doing, absolute delusion. And delusion feeds into this fanboy mentality, basically. Let's see. He's still talking about Nazo's video. Lads, we'll get into it tomorrow. Don't worry about it. The Backseater says, Hail Scran. Cheers, dude. I don't think I've seen you in my chat before, but I've seen you about, and I enjoy your videos. So nice to see you, man. It took George and I years to make it originally. Exactly, Dan Blackroyd. You and George in 1999, well, and a couple of years prior, you guys put so much effort into The Phantom Menace. You guys put so much effort into fleshing out the entire Star Wars saga. And then what? These YouTubers come in and they're like, oh, we can do it better. You know what I mean? We can do it better than George and Dan Blackroyd. Pause says, I'd work for Disney Star Wars and mess it up even more. Well, that's the thing. That's the only way where it would ever probably change. If it got so bad that there's no point in going on with it. Hey, Melissa Lord, good to see you. Thanks for hopping in. We're not going to go too long tonight. I'm kind of halfway through my spiel, but it's good to get all your guys' thoughts on it. OG Star Wars says, fan films are fun, but be real, they aren't and won't save anything. No way. Soul Assassin says, I'll make a fan film and it will have blackjack and hookers, maybe not blackjack, probably not hookers. You know what? Forget the whole thing. Yeah, I think it's probably best, Soul Assassin. Probably for the best. Unless it's Andor, right? It likes to have all that adult kind of stuff in it, right? Because that's exactly what Star Wars is all about. Dan Blackroyd says, when I was coming through film school, most of the fan fiction stuff we did in class was more VFX tests or stuff like that. Nothing intended for release. Lightsaber tests were a staple of the internet. Yeah, I think like getting that lightsaber effect is probably one of the, like, not speaking from experience, but I'm told it's one of like the easiest things to accomplish when you're doing VFX stuff. So let's see where I get to. Disney won't adapt EU faithfully. They don't honor George. They won't adhere to their own continuity. Yeah, fanboy mentality. Yeah, this stuff honestly, it will not make Disney change their ways at all. If anything, it will just make them double down, because that's what they always do. They always double down on what they're up to. And then Theory and Josh, they both agree. They always do this. They trash Disney for a bit, and then they both agree that Disney have made some great stuff. And in chat, right, what are the things that you think they say are good Disney Star Wars? Give me a few examples, because I'm sure you can rhyme them off. What do the fence riders and grifters say is good Disney Star Wars that they accept, basically? Star Wars fan films will only create fans of that specific fan film, not fans of Star Wars. Yeah. And people on Theory's channel as well, you can talk to them about lore and canon all day. They're interested in what Theory's doing. They're not interested in actual Star Wars lore, you know? They had brothels in Star Wars. I think some character mentioned Mandalorian tokens to a brothel. I'm not sure. Ask OG, she might remember. Yeah, I don't doubt that stuff was in there, but it wasn't like front and center, you know? Dan Blackwood says, now it is. Back then it was each frame rotoscoped, not exactly hard work, but tedious. The lightsaber FX are simple tracking. Yeah, I can imagine. And that's one thing Disney Star Wars gets wrong is the lightsabers, because you can tell that it's just like, it's like here. I charged mine up, right? Right, Disney Star Wars lightsabers look like this. And you can tell it's like plastic, right? You can totally tell. Actually, it looks pretty cool on the camera. It actually looks better on the camera than it does in real life. But you can tell that it's like plastic, and when they're fighting and stuff, you were the chosen one. That's pretty cool. You can tell that they're like plastic and they're bouncing off of each other. That's going to get me copyright struck. Turn off already. There you go. Whereas in George Lucas Star Wars, they did it the old-fashioned way and they probably just rotoscoped it, right? Andor, exactly. That's what Andor season 2. Oh, I've missed a couple of years. Wait a second. Hey, we've got Riff Magos in here over the Blandalorian and Blandor, and for some strange reason, always give them a pass. Yep, Mandalorian, Andor. Oh yeah, I'm sure. Andor and if you accept Andor and Rebels, I'm sorry, but it's Disney. Star Wars doesn't fit with the real canon. Yeah, I think the comics maybe dove into that stuff a bit more, Nasal. The Kenobi fan film is good. Actually, what Disney should have done with their TV show. Oh, sure. I mean, within their own continuity, there's things they could have done better. But when it comes to overall Star Wars, that has no place. A Theory Saber. Is that because it has so many malfunctions and stuff? It's actually pretty cool. I'm pretty sure that's one of the Revan ones. Dan Blackroyd says, do you need a minute? We can wait until you're finished playing. Yeah, I'm all done. My Theory Saber broke. Soul Assassin says, Rotoscope gave us Fire and Ice, which is a good movie. Fire and Ice. Scran showing off his Theory Sabers. It cost me triple the price. If I went to THQ, I would have got it fairly priced. So, let's see. This always happens on stream. We get sidetracked. We go on tangents. How long have we been going? Yeah, let's stay on for a little bit longer. So let's finish this up. Yeah, yeah, you hit the nail on the head. You've got Mandalorian season 1 and 2. They say the Tales of the Jedi ripped the title off of real Star Wars. They like Andor. People like Theory say it's boring, but it was good. Make that make sense. What else do they like? They probably like the Ahsoka show. They'll say they don't, but they do. Rogue One. That's the other one. And we'll be talking a bit about that tomorrow evening as well. So 1 minute they're saying that Dave Filoni isn't the guy, then they say he's just being a good employee, that he actually makes George Lucas quality Star Wars, and that made me laugh out loud. The dude's responsible for basically most of Disney Star Wars he's been involved in, and he's currently at a stage where he's approving the stuff and making notes and telling them to change stuff, and he's on board with it. And every time I talk about Filoni, I lose subs or like I get unpleasant comments, but you got to face reality here. The dude's been destroying Star Wars since before the Disney sale, so, and that's something I learned too late, I think. Yeah. They even call Rogue One good Star Wars. Lol. Yeah. Andor is space Che Guevara, commie propaganda, fake Kyle Katarn. That's right. Go to the Fractured Filter. That's the real Kyle Katarn, or at least it's his doppelganger. Is it possible to get secondhand boredom when Rhino would review Disney Star Wars? I start falling asleep every time. Yeah. I'm kind of glad he does it. It's a good way to keep up in a way with what's going on, even though we're not really following it as such, like watching the stuff. It's nice to know like what's happening, and you can kind of see what's going on over there. But yeah, not worth your time to actually watch that stuff. So what have I written here? I'm not making any sense. Yeah, so they claim that something good, every time something comes out that they claim is good, they're like, oh, we're back, guys. Star Wars is back. Star Wars is saved. And it's like, saved for like the 10th time. They like this stuff, so what is it getting saved from? And in regards to Filoni, who they see as like the, what do you call it, the savior, basically, George Lucas's what's the word for it that they call him? What do they call Filoni? So basically, Filoni's saving Star Wars from himself. It doesn't make sense. Apprentice, that's the word. George Lucas's apprentice. Self-proclaimed apprentice. The savior of Star Wars, that's right. Iron Inquisitor says 1 or 2 good things in the alt-fake canon doesn't save Star Wars as a whole or erase the sequels. And that's the thing, like, in that stream as well, Denov Vong said that he puts Andor on the same level as Acolyte, right? And you heard the audience, like, audibly, like, what, that's whack, man. Like, what are you talking about? And then everyone in the comments is like, oh, I love the guy, but that's a crazy take. And then you're like, it's part of Disney continuity. It's in the same continuity as the Acolyte, as everything that has destroyed actual Star Wars. And it's all taken place before the Disney sequel trilogy, which you all claim that you dislike, which is probably not true. You probably all ate it up and loved it. So it doesn't matter what these people make. it's all leading to the thing that you despise. And there's no way around it. It all has to go. It all has to be erased. Let's see. Dan Blackguard says, always two, an apprentice and a master. We never found out the true nature. Well, the Phantom Menace never explained it. All it said, that's all that you guys revealed in that movie, Dan. I think Maul was the master. Well, and exactly. If they killed the master, there's just an apprentice left out there, so who cares? Melissa says, being better than Acolyte is not a compliment. That bar is so low, it's on the ground. Exactly. Nasal says, pretty much you can like isolate stuff in the Disney era of Star Wars, but it doesn't have the continuity. Yeah, and I'll never understand how anyone can like any of that stuff, knowing what it does to real Star Wars that you love, knowing what they did to George, how they've treated fans, and how they treat the IP. I'll never understand that. But, you know, to each their own. Like what you want to like. It has no bearing on my life. I don't get it. There's OG Star Wars saying, I think Disney lore is confusing fans about what balance and Luke using both dark and light. Oh, yeah. Definitely. But it's because they like this concept of being in the middle, this grey area. They love these like anti-hero kind of characters where being bad, like the bad guys are the good guys kind of thing. You've got to empathize and sympathize with these people and their morally grey, I guess, decisions that they're making. Whereas no, Star Wars is very black and white. It's very good versus evil. The good guys are the good guys, and the bad guys are the villains. You know. And that's like they like to use that to excuse the way that Luke turns out in The Last Jedi as well. It's like, oh, do you think people just stay the same for 30 years? Do you think he's never going to have bad days and make mistakes? And it's like, in the world of Star Wars, Luke Skywalker made his mistakes and he learned from it. And that's the moral story for you to take away from and apply in your life, you know? And then if you read the EU, you see Luke grow as a character and the heroic things that he continues to do. And sure, he makes mistakes. Of course he does. But he never gives, as a character, he never gives up on his friends, his loved ones, his family. It's not within his character traits. So you do not do that off screen and expect fans to be okay with it. They knew what they were doing. They knew they were going to ruffle feathers and trigger people and upset long-term fans. And there's no excuse for it. Dan says, in 1,000 years, pop culture archaeologists will find my writings and teachings of Star Wars and accept the real canon. You're absolutely right. They really don't want to let that Grey Jedi idea die. Yeah. Paul says Jake Skywalker was using a vinegar, not honey. Where's my vinegar clip?
They back out now. I will find them. I will strangle them. I will beat them into oblivion. Wow. I'm full of the vinegar. Oh.
Full of the vinegar. Just jousting, folks. Let's see. It's totally grey. Yeah. And let's see. So it's just trying to work out when that penny's going to drop. Like, anyone in chat has the penny dropped for you? When will people realize it's not going to improve? The only thing to do is to ignore it and make fun of it and stop being delusional, get rid of the fanboy mentality. And that's all I can really say about it. That's kind of what the point I wanted to drive home this evening, to leave with you some food for thought. And if any of you have any thoughts on that, you can share in the comments and we can talk about it for a little bit. Carillion Ale. Does Soul Assassin, does Star Wars have Carillion Ale, or is it just the whiskey? Shout out to Alma Vinegars. Yep. Oh yeah, Always Sunny is brilliant. At least up until like the season where they go to Ireland, I kind of lost interest after that. It's kind of like Seinfeld. I don't think it's as good as Seinfeld, but you can tell it's got a lot of inspiration from there. Korriban wine makes you do poor decisions. I'm more of a Romulan ale kind of guy for all the Trekkies in chat. But I think what I'm kind of getting at, like it all boils down to kind of where the grifters and fence raiders come from, and the rumor mongers, right? I guess they all kind of fit in, but they have this weird ability to like fantasize and just come up with things that they would maybe like to see, and then they take little bits of like fake news and then they splice it together and twist it, and they're like, oh, what if George Lucas comes back? Like, oh guys, how great would it be if George Lucas came back and like remade the sequel trilogy? Sure, that'd be awesome. Never going to happen. And how do I know that? Because George has stated ever since the sale that he's never making sequels. He's distancing himself. He's done with it. He'll be in his 80s by the time he's done. He wants to spend time with his family. Never going to happen, you know? Or they're like, oh, what if they brought Mara Jade? What if they brought Mara Jade into Disney lore? It's like, okay. Like, what of it? It wouldn't fix anything. It would just pervert her character. It wouldn't fit in with their lore either. They've already destroyed Luke Skywalker and Thrawn. Why would you want that? I don't understand. Cheers, Riff. Soul Assassin says, Scran is right. Bring back the Trek versus Star Wars fan debates. Yeah, that's what I mean. That's a normal fanboy debate. Trek versus Star Wars. Star Wars wins. Real Star Wars wins. And I'll die on that hill. But like, believe it or not, Disney Star Wars is that bad. That's why I turned to Trek. And it's awesome. So Disney Star Wars did me a favor, I suppose. They're most likely moving towards the Old Republic for their future shows. Well, they've already got their High Republic trash, don't they? And Babylon 5's better. You think it's better than Star Wars? I don't know about that. I don't know if it beats George Lucas era Star Wars. It's very good. Like, what I've seen of it, fantastic. And Babylon 5, like, what a great science fiction show. Like, amazing writing. Like, the story does favors for like the bad CGI and stuff like that, you know? If Star Wars Stereo wanted to come out and write something like that, go for it. But I'm not interested in Mace Windu coming back and fighting Vader and all that stuff. In comparison to Star Trek, well, Babylon 5, I feel like it kind of takes from Star Trek, you know what I mean? It wouldn't exist without Star Trek. Stormtroopers have a better survival rate than red shirts, just saying. Well, and that's a misconception as well, because red shirts aren't the ones that die all the time. That's what I've noticed. They're not just dispensable, you know? Like Scotty. Scotty wears a red shirt all the time. And of course the Scotsman survives. We'll just go for a little bit longer here, guys. I didn't plan on staying on too long. Mrs. Scran wasn't... she wanted to hang out for a bit, so... Soul Assassin says, I'm saying Mrs. Scran. I mean, Lil Jaina. We came to the consensus on that, huh? Lil Jaina. My cousin was more Babylon 5, Stargate, and Trek. I just thought he was nuts. They're all good. Nothing wrong with them. Stargate's on my list after Babylon 5, so. Deep Space Nine borrowed a lot from B5. Need to do some research into that, actually. I'd be interested in that. I remember the Tremors TV show and Scare Tactics. Yeah, Lil Mako. I was actually thinking about that. That would be pretty funny. OG Star Wars says, remember OG Star Wars channel member at Listen Party? Oh, is it today? Yeah. Thanks for sharing that. I don't know if I'll be able to get into that. I'm obviously not a member yet, so hopefully in future and I can get back and see those. But anyone in chat that follows OG, make sure you're there for that. I'm envious. So guys, strip off the fanboy mentality and do your research. Don't be delusional. Live in reality. Disney Star Wars is a failing property. George Lucas era Star Wars will be timeless forever. It will withstand the test of time. It's there to enjoy forever. There's so many stories to dive into, to enjoy, to learn, to share. And you don't need more, is what I'm saying. You don't need more, and you don't need. Oh, I'm a mod. I'll have access. Oh, maybe I can join then. Yeah, I'll do my best. I wonder how many subs does it take to get OG to cosplay as a Mako mermaid. Right, you threw me off my big speech. So thanks everyone for tuning in and listening to me ramble for a little bit. It was just something I wanted to talk about because tomorrow's stream might go a bit long, so I'll actually be starting a bit earlier, and you can look forward to that. I'll have Netcat on. We'll be talking about Star Wars in general, and then Hairy Lemon's here. Caught a live stream, but want to say thanks for getting me into reading Shatterpoint. What a great book so far. Oh yeah, cheers for saying that. That's awesome to hear. I'm enjoying it as well. Not my favourite EU book so far, but nothing wrong with it. Nothing wrong with it whatsoever, and there's a lot of good stuff in there. So, Soul Assassin's going to do his daily pestering of OG. Good to hear. So just to conclude, guys, thanks again for being here. I'll hopefully see you in chat tomorrow. Got a lot of good things to talk about, and yeah, thanks OG. And we'll be talking about a handful of articles, talking about Anbor, yeah, fun stuff like that. And obviously I said we'd get into Nezo's video that he released. Obviously there was a little bit of a uproar about that. I've got my thoughts on it, so we can have a little chat about that, get your thoughts, and I shall speak to you all later. So Mako mermaids. Adios. Thanks for being here. Aye. Long live the expanded universe. Langmuir Lumsreek, and take care. And where's my use honey, not vinegar.
They back out now. I will find them. I will strangle them. I will beat them into oblivion. I'm full of the vinegar.